What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. Baltimore Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson came into yesterday's game against the Texans needing 86 rushing yards to pass Michael Vick for the all-time record for most career rushing yards for a QB. And he hit the mark in the third quarter. Jackson had a 6-yard run to get to 87 rushing yards for the day and 6,110 for his NFL career. Jackson set the mark in his 102nd career game, while Vick played in 143 games over the course of his career. So Jackson's going to put a lot of distance between himself and Vick in the coming years. Jackson threw a 1-yard TD pass to tight end Mark Andrews a couple of plays after he broke Vick's record, and the Ravens were up 31-2 late in the third quarter in Houston. I do want to add this little bit thing. I want to add this little nugget, this little caveat for Mike Vick. People have to remember, though, that Mike Vick lost 2 years of his career. 2000, I think it was the 2007 and 2008 seasons. I vividly remember that because the trial was held in VA at that time. So I think the year before that, with the Falcons, Mike Vick rushed for over 1,000 yards that year. So he was 26 years old. So he was in the absolute prime of his career. So it stands to reason if he had stayed healthy those 2 years, he would have rushed for somewhere around 1,000 yards both years. So he probably would have finished with 8,000 or so, somewhere in that neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? But that's neither here nor there. Okay. As great as Mike Vick was, Lamar Jackson's on another level. He was a 2-time league MVP, maybe on his way to becoming a 3-time league MVP. And then he has the numbers to back that up. So far this season, let's see if I can pull up his numbers. He's thrown for 3,955 yards. So he should, barring injury, surpass 4,000 passing yards, which I'm trying to see if that's something he's ever accomplished. He has not. So this will be the first time he's accomplished that in their next game. He has a franchise record 39 TD passes. He's sure to add to that. When you combine the 4 rushing touchdowns, he gets him 43 total touchdowns. And I believe he has something around 852. There's the number I saw. 852 rushing yards. It's not out of the question that he could reach 1,000 for the year. It's not out of the question. He'll have to have a pretty big day rushing at the QB position, 148 or more. But it's probably a given he's going to pass 900. So, you look at the combination of speed, look at the combination of accuracy. He's a 68% passer this year. To me, he is probably the MVP. Breaking that record definitely adds to his case. Though I'm going to admit, I'm a Buffalo Bills fan. I don't talk about them much because I'm very, very paranoid and superstitious about boasting about that team. Because, man, if you're a Bills fan, you understand. I just scarred, man. I'm scarred as a Bills fan. But I do believe that Josh Allen also has a case to be the MVP this year. I mean, he's had a phenomenal year. Another guy who I think is in the conversation for league MVP is Saquon Barkley. Okay. see if I can pull up his numbers. Saquon Barkley in 15 games has 1,838 rushing yards. He's averaging 5.9 yards per carry, 13 TDs for the season. And the Philadelphia Eagles so far this year, trying to pull up the Philadelphia Eagles so far this year, 12-3. So that gives them two more games. So Saquon Barkley is, let's see, leads at 1,838 rushing yards. So he's 267 from the record, meaning that he would have to average 133.5 rushing yards the final two games to break Eric Dickerson's record. Now, to me, it wouldn't be a true record because you've added another game to the season. You know, when Dickerson made his mark, it was 16 games. Excuse me. When Dickerson made his mark, it was 16 games. But that shows you how amazing O.J. Simpson's record is for him to get 2,000 rushing yards in 14 games. I mean, that's crazy, man. You know. But anyway, this should be a very close race. It should come down to the wire as far as who's going to be the league MVP. I know that there have been co-MVPs in the past. I think in 2003, I think there was two MVPs that year. I think it was Peyton Manning and the late great Steve McNair. So that's definitely something that's a possibility as well. But I like it for it to be one guy. Now, like I said before, I'm a Bills fan. I would like for it to be Josh Allen, but I would not be mad if it's Lamar Jackson. And if he does get a third MVP, I would think there's only been a handful of guys who've had 3 MVPs. Let's see if I can pull that up here. So it seems, I think Jim Brown was an MVP 3 times. Johnny Unitas 3 times, I think. If I'm reading this right. I might not be reading this right. Let me go back. But whatever the case may be, there haven't been that many 3-time winners. I think Jim Brown did it. I see it now. Jim Brown did it 3 times. John Unitas. Okay, so I was reading it correctly. So Jim Brown did it 3 times. Johnny Unitas did it 3 times. Earl Campbell did it 3 times. Peyton Manning did it 4 times. Kurt Warner 3 times. Actually, Peyton Manning 5 times. Tom Brady 3 times. Aaron Rodgers 4 times. So that'll put Lamar Jackson in an unbelievable category if he's able to accomplish that. Unbelievable. But anyway, tell me what you guys think.